Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and today we are very lucky to be hosting youthful members of our Kenya who we are going to discuss with them threats or challenges the youth are facing in Kenya. Before I go to discussion of today, may I give them opportunity to introduce themselves. Then from there, we will be going to discuss the issue. Thank you very much. Makobura.
Okay, thank you, Brother Bernard. My name is Kevin Obura. I'm a young politician and I like discussing issues to do with youth and politics. Thank you.
Okay, our next guest, Vera, you should introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Vera. I am I am privileged to be part of the discussion, to be this part of discussion. I'm Vera War, just a student, a youth.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much for such introduction. Today we want to discuss about the challenges that the youth are facing. We don't want to kind of like generalize all the youths, but we want to speak from your own experience as a youth. What are the challenges you're facing, and how can you voice those challenges? So let me first of all start with Vera. Maybe if you can tell us the challenges that you are facing as a youth in our Republic, Kenya.
Okay. Apparently, the major problem that the youths are facing today, I can talk of drug abuse.
Yes.
Yeah, the rate of availability of drugs is so high, is so rampant in Kenya, to an extent that the youths are taking it as an advantage. Like, you might find that any youth, anytime they get, like mostly, let's talk about the university, the campus students.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anytime they get, I mean, not even when they're free or like they just use their drugs, maybe to settle, or it depends with their mental stability. Or yeah, so you may find that they indulge themselves in the use of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe because the drugs are mostly available, are too much available.
Okay, okay. Thank you
Mhm.
very much. We'll get back to you. Makobura,
Okay.
Yes, yes.
what are the challenges and the threats that you personally as a youth, maybe without generalizing, as somebody who has gone through campus and through campus, now you are out there. What are the challenges that you feel you are facing as a youth?
Okay. First of all, I think we should understand this term, the term youth. A youth, I think, according to UN,
Yeah.
it's someone who is between 15 and 35 years old, and they are capable of carrying out duties and responsibilities as adults. So, me as a youth, I think that the biggest problem that I faced as a youth is unemployment. Majority of us, especially me,
Mm.
we went through primary, high school, campus, and then you get out of campus. You find it tough. You find it tough because there's no job and life must move on. You have to pay bills. You have to survive. And again, there's a lot of expectation from you, maybe from the parents and the people around. They expect that after you've finished, you've gone through the all system of education that are here in Kenya, they expect you to be working somewhere and maybe start supporting them in one way or another. I find it hard because uh, the unemployment issue in Kenya is a real issue, and majority of youths are really facing it. It's tough for them. So
Okay.
that's a major problem that I would say I've experienced as a youth.
Okay. Let me go back to Vera. Vera, you did speak about drug abuse. And
Yeah.
when you look at drug abuse, there are those that, let's say, those who are given narcotic from the hospital. They're the narcotic, the kind of narcotic sometimes you get for maybe somebody who has depression or what. You may find up like somebody is um, taking too much of it and they get too much addicted to it. That can also be as a drug abuse. Then there's those substances like about like the youths are talking about using of cocaine and maybe the alcohol and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think can be done as a youth? What can be done by the government to make sure that the young men do not get involved in drug abuse?
Okay. I think the first solution, mostly youth should be taken, like they should be taken through a lot of therapy. I mean, mental therapy, because you can't just set rules. Like, I mean, set rules like maybe like harassing rules, like to say, like let's say
Mhm,
calling cops on them, like you get someone, or like you get a youth having, like let's say a bang, and then you just want to call a cop on them. Like it's not logical. The
mhm,
only thing we can first do is maybe take youths through mental therapy,
mhm,
talk to them, because maybe some are taking it for a reason.
mhm,
Yeah, so mental therapy will be my first reason, like will be my first suggestion.
mhm,
And then just engaging, making sure that youth are mostly engaged. Like I would buy my colleagues point of jobs, like employing the youths.
mhm.
Once they are engaged in their jobs and their sort of employments, I guess their time wastage will be minimized.
Minimize.
Yeah, so I think those two will be my core points.
Marco Bura, something about the drug abuse?
Oh, sorry. I think most youths are getting into drugs because either uh, maybe they're flying away of realities and the things which are happening. Some of them maybe you find that they've finished high school, they've gone through colleges, and they can't find job, and so they get into drugs because they're trying to console themselves. They're trying to flee away from the reality that there are no jobs.
Mhm,
Again, some of them get into drugs because of peer pressure.
mhm,
Uh, the issue of drug is actually becoming a serious issue in Kenya,
mhm,
and it should be addressed because it's most youths are getting wasted, good brains are getting wasted, and if it's not looked into, the next generation will suffer a big loss.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Makobura, you talked about employment, and most of the time when we talk about employment, we usually look or usually blame it on government, right? That the government should provide employment. But as a young youth, being that realizing that employment is a challenge, that you might not get employment from government, is there a way that you can create ways by yourself by creating your own employment?
Oh, yes, there are ways, but it also depends with the guidelines and the rules and regulations in the country here in Kenya.
Mhm,
You find that starting either these small businesses is very tough here in Kenya because the what do you call it? Starting a business is too hard because the level of what do you call it? Uh,
Accessibility of finances or what?
Finance, actually, finance.
Yeah.
Getting that finance is a problem because since most people are just from campus,
Mhm,
they don't. It's not easy to get access of capital,
mhm,
and the government has not been really providing the capital for the youth to start this kind of small work so that they can create employment for themselves. So it's becoming also an issue, and it is a serious one. Again, the
yeah,
government is not really empowering youths
mhm,
by either giving them either machines or ways, or even training them
mhm.
on the right small businesses that they should engage in so that they can stand for themselves.
Okay, let me talk to you about government. As you know, we have so many funds that have been created by the government. We start with the recently we have Hustler Fund, we have Wezo Fund, yeah, and these are ways in which the government usually puts it like, yeah, you should go there and take some money, then start your own business. Have you tried to go there? Vera, have you gone to the government even to try Hustler Fund or Wezo Fund so that you can start your business? Or you're still waiting for government employment?
Okay, personally, I can't talk of waiting for the government or employment,
Hmm.
but let's talk of opportunities.
Yeah.
Based on employment,
Hmm.
we as youths, you might really want to be funded, but
Hmm.
then connections. Who do you know? Who connected you here? You can't just come from nowhere and then you want funds. It's not even possible. And then let's talk of uh, the one that was introduced Juicy
Hustler Fund.
Hustler Fund.
Hmm.
Some of us, it's even reading zero. And plus the rate at which it is increasing, I mean, it can't even allow you to do a business. Let's say you want to open a business. Let's say your Fuliza, whatever the fund, their Hustler Fund, your Hustler Fund is like 3,500.
Hmm.
Like which business? Okay, you can run a business with 3,500, but let's say it depends with the rate, depends with your knowledge on the business that you want to run.
Hmm.
And then you run your business knowing back that there's like the increase of the like you borrowed the money, you have to return it
Hmm.
at a what? At an interest, right?
Uh-huh.
And then how time and everything, this money is increasing. It's just like Fuliza. So basically, I can't buy the idea of getting the Hustler Fund and then just going for the other funds like the government. The government actually has they have their own way of funding the youths. Maybe let's say you get to the offices like you are looking for the funds, but actually there's tribalism. Like we have cases that are really making us like are really shutting us down
Hmm.
from whatever goals that we want to achieve in our lives. Like, I mean, you can't be considered without connections. Most of the times, you just want to be considered without connections, unless you are connected to someone who is maybe prominent, who is maybe well known. Like you, it's not easy. I mean, youths are really struggling. The opportunities out here, they are really limited to some people. It's not for everyone. We are really lacking the opportunities out here. We got the brains, like maybe you got the brain that you want to do something, but
Hmm.
funds, you are not in a you are not in a good position to fund your business. And then let's say you have this business.
Okay, the internet. Makobura, there's a problem with the internet. You can continue about
Okay.
government,
The,
Hustler Fund, Wezo, and everything.
yeah, if you ask me, I would say
Yeah.
introduction of Asla Fund was a serious mock to the Kenyan youths
Hmm.
because it was overrated by the government.
Hmm.
They gave us so many good information about it, but when it was finally introduced,
Hmm.
we realized that it was a serious scam, I would
Hmm.
say so, because it's not really helping.
Hmm.
Someone cannot lie to you that he or she wants to help you, and then he gives you 500 shillings
Mm,
to start a business.
mm,
Uh, Currently, there is high level of taxation in the country.
mhm,
500 shillings, there's no business you can start with it here in Kenya currently.
mhm,
And so the other Uwezo fund which they claim
mhm,
is also there.
mhm,
It's tough to get it. If you
mhm,
want to apply for it, you must know people.
mm,
So I wouldn't really say that the government has done something to help youths in starting their own businesses
mhm.
so that the issue of unemployment is solved.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yes. Again, they claim that they have introduced so many platforms where youths can be given money or they can borrow money to start businesses and then they return after
Mhm,
some time.
mhm,
But the truth is, those money or platforms, the youths of the Republic of Kenya are unable to
mhm.
get access. And so it's false.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And there's also something that I think is also like a threat to us as youths, yeah. And
Yeah.
Vera, thank you for coming back. We were just concluding on the unemployment issue, whereby Marco Bura has commented on it. There's also something that I feel is a challenge we need to hear your views on. This is the leadership issues, yeah, because if the leadership is well organized, I think the youths can do well. In your own assessment, Vera, when
Yeah.
you look at the leadership of the country,
Mhm.
maybe the leadership of the county you're coming from,
Yeah.
are you seeing any good thing to say about the leadership, or anything to say about the leadership?
Yeah, apparently from my own constituency,
Mm,
I can say there's a good leadership.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. Yeah.
What leadership is your constituency doing for you that you might say like, okay, this is a very good leadership, especially concerning the youths?
Okay, basically for the youth, I'm not sure, but
Mhm,
basically for the youth, I can't say I am sure, but
mhm,
I can talk about job opportunities.
mhm,
I mean, at least the MP can allow the youth to be like, they're the one who suggests the bodyguards, right? They're
mhm,
the one that suggests their drivers. They're the ones that suggest who is who.
mhm,
With that, according to, like, it's the youths from the constituency that will apply for the jobs,
mhm.
and then he'll look for the most qualified ones, and
Yeah.
then he'll forward them, and then they'll be the one for the jobs. And then apparently, yeah, I can talk about the chief constituency, that's the MP. At least he's capable of
Which
looking for the
constituency
youth.
is this? Which constituency is this? We are talking
Suna
about
West,
where?
Suna West constituency,
Oh, all
Migori
the way
County.
from Migori.
Yeah, all the way from Migori County, Suna West constituency.
Who is who? Who is his name? The MP.
Francis Peter Masara, Honorable
Oh,
Francis Peter Masara. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so you find that the MP is capable of like looking for the youths, at least one or two, forwarding them to the KDF. I mean, he's likely to expose them to such kind of jobs, right?
Yeah.
Which is helping the youth. I mean, at least most of the youth, they find time to be engaged, rather than you find that most of the youth, they can, when they are idle, they can indulge in the businesses like being thieves. I mean, yeah, such kind of stuff. But then they are engaged in their jobs, like being the security people,
Mhm.
such kind of sorts.
Makobura, anything about the leadership?
First, before I talk about leadership, I
Mm.
wanted to to say something about unemployment.
Okay.
Since we were trying to look into the issues like the challenges that the youth are facing when it comes to unemployment, I
Mhm.
think it's also good to talk about the country Kenya and the reason why we have this unemployment issue.
Okay.
According to my thinking,
Mhm.
I have this thinking that there's a group of people in
Mhm.
Kenya that are holding the economy of Kenya. And for that reason, it is very hard for other youths to either get the job opportunities which are available. We find that actually from the political side,
Mhm.
politicians are the ones when they're elected, they should be able to try start things or platforms which can help youths to get employment. But you find that majority of the top, especially the top leadership, we've had a stagnant political class,
Mhm.
a group of politicians who have been in politics for years and decades. So you find that, for example, when it comes to employment, a person, for example, was employed by either, let me say, the president, His Excellency Dr. Ruto. I'm quite sure the driver that he had when he first became MP of Eldoret North, that person either could be the same driver that he's having up to date. That is 30 years ago.
Mhm.
I'm quite sure somebody like His Excellency, the Prime, the CS, Prime CS, the
Mudavadi.
driver that he had when he was the deputy president could be the driver that he still have us to date. The friends that the close friends that he had are the same people who are still being selected into top positions. The same good friends that the president had are the same people that they have been electing ever since. They have been giving opportunities ever since they started their politics. So these people have been holding these jobs and they are not living. So majority of youth of Kenyans, they are unable to get these positions because the so-called close friends, they are there to stay and other people are not getting the opportunity. For example, let me say, for example, if suppose I was elected as the member of parliament of Nyakach, probably I'll be having a bodyguard.
Mhm.
That would be a new person who will get an employment.
Mhm.
A driver will be having maybe a driver. I would have employed someone. I would be having maybe cooks or securities. Those would be new jobs.
Mhm.
But if the people who have been in politics for this long, as from 1970s or 80s, the same drivers they had in 1980s are the ones who are still there.
Mhm.
The same cooks that they had those days are the ones. So it's tough because they don't want to introduce new people so that they also get the opportunity. And that
Yeah.
is also bringing a big issue because if we look at the selection of people who have been getting government jobs,
Mhm.
these are people who have been in these positions ever before.
Yeah.
The other day, there was this creation of CS position. We were being told before that these are positions that would be given to youths. We were
Mhm.
surprised when former governors, billionaires, were being appointed to be the CIS. Now, how do you solve the unemployment if someone who has been a governor for 2 terms, you elect these people or you appoint them to these positions,
Mhm.
and then you claim that you want to solve the issue of unemployment? I think that is an issue that, if not looked into, when we are discussing about unemployment, we should also try to look deeply what the issues are.
So when you give the way you've given explanation, and that one also bring us to it's the issue of leadership, the leadership that does not understand on what should be done, or they do understand but they just decide to ignore because there's nobody holding them accountable for that.
Yeah, majority of us has been brainwashed, and so we are kind of praising or worshiping the. Okay, these politicians, I would say that they're like demigods. We kind of worship them, whether they're doing the right thing or not. So this is the problem that we've had, especially we as youths. You find that when you meet a politician or someone in government, they'll give you 50 bob or 100 shillings. These 100 shillings, you'll either go buy some chapati and beans, and then you'll think that you're full. The next day, you'll have nothing to eat. If this politician fail to come maybe the next day, you will have nothing to eat. But the problem is we've been giving them too much power. We kind of worship them, and that is the problem that we have. We don't tell them on their eyes that we don't need these bribes or things that you're trying to introduce to us.
Mhm,
So we as the youths, we've also failed
mhm,
because we've not taken a stand to
mhm,
tell them on their eyes that we don't need 100 shillings. We
mhm.
want you to introduce to us or to give us ways in which we can help ourselves so that even if you're not there, you don't give us the 100 shillings, we'll be able to get the meals of the days to come.
Okay, so what about the leadership? Or you combined everything together with the leadership?
The leadership of the country,
Maybe the leadership of the country, the leadership of the county, and like Vera gave us a very good example of how the constituency leader, that is the MP, is doing a good job, and that is recommendable. You know, like it's very rare to find like somebody is praising their MP. So maybe I hope the MP is doing a good job too. Um, and in
it,
terms of the national government and the county government, what is their leadership has played a role that has made youth to have some challenges, you know, all, yeah, if you look across the board.
as a young politician
Mhm,
or someone with views, I think I have different, the opinions that I have.
mhm,
I'm against most of politicians. If we look at the national government, maybe the political party, there's this act where the youths, when appointments are being done, especially when the political parties are appointing members, nominating members of parliament or senate, there's these slots for the youths, and there's an age in which they should consider.
mhm,
The truth of the matter is that political act is it's not being followed to the latter because majority of people, for example, who are nominated, these are people who either financed these political parties. The youths have not been given the opportunity. The number of youths who are nominated, it's not the right according to the political act. And for that reason, the youths are not fully represented in the parliament.
mhm.
The few who are there, they don't really have enough time or voice to give or to air their views concerning the youths.
Let me you're talking about the youth in parliament, and because I know of a few. I can talk of Salasia. I know of Jalango is a youth, right? I know of Babu Owino. I know of who again? There's a lady from is it Mount Kenya? But like the issue is, I think the youth, due to the fact that they came with a political party and they have this fear to criticize because they know if we criticize or if we push for an agenda for the youths, we may not be liked. Maybe that could be a reason.
Yeah, there's that fear again. You know, and like any youth, they would want to be relevant in the political field for quite some time. And the problem that we have in Kenya is that there's this belief that when you are so close to the political party or a party that is popular, then
Mhm.
probably your political future would be better, or it will last for long. So that has also been an issue. It has been a problem because they try to they try to focus on pleasing their masters, that is the party leaders, rather than pleasing the youths or the people.
Mhm.
Or actually, they have failed to look into the issues that took them to the parliament, and
Mhm.
they are really focusing on making happy their political parties. So there's that problem also that we have as a youth,
Okay.
especially the members of parliament who are youthful.
Okay, so I think we have a issue. We have the issue with our leadership, especially not even in the government, even in our local areas. You know, like they're not doing their due diligence. They do not address the issues of the youth. Vera, I want to come to you. There's something called the digital platform. I think you know the digital platform.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it is a challenge to the youths?
Yeah, it's a challenge to the youth as per my own understanding.
Yeah.
I'll say it's a challenge to the youth.
How?
Let's say,
Mm,
like the digital platform, some of them,
mm,
they contain a lot of adverts, right?
mm,
And the adverts, it depends with like a youth's personality.
mm,
It can either impact me negatively, it can either give me a negative impact or a positive impact, right?
mhm,
According to my own understanding or the way I've been brought up and my own environment, right?
mhm,
Let's say there are such adverts like I'll just base my own like I'll just base it on drugs.
mm,
Yeah, so let's say, for example, some adverts are mostly based on drug content.
mhm,
So I used will be like, okay, I'll be like, let's say it's a kind of alcohol that he or she has never taken, like he or she has never taken. So you find that they would be having that urge
mm,
to consume it.
mhm.
At least they'll be in that position. At least youths can do anything to own whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
So however expensive the drug or whatever the drink will be going for, I mean they would really work for it to get it. So you see they're wasting the money only
Mm.
to purchase something that it's not meaningful to their lives, like it's not impacting their lives positively.
Okay. That,
Yeah,
that
so
okay. Thank you. That's a good one. And I want you to give you another view on how I want you to get your reaction on the digital
yeah,
platform. One,
yeah,
we have the digital platform. We have things like TikTok, Instagram, and everything,
yeah,
right? And you
yeah,
see what people are posting, yeah.
yeah, sure,
And you are talking about uh, when you are speaking earlier, you are talking about the connection. Yeah.
yeah,
When you look at
mm-hmm,
digital platform, there's a way in which in digital platform, if you use it positively, you can
mm-hmm,
get connected. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
In a way,
mm-hmm,
let's say you can access the internet. When you
yeah,
access the internet, there are so many things or some other businesses that you can do in the digital platform. Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So as 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 you have you ever thought of maybe thinking that way, like, how can I create or do a business through digital platform? Or
Yeah, personally, I've actually thought of like TikTok. TikTok pays.
Yeah.
But in only case at in a situation whereby you have 1,000 and above followers, you are capable of doing lives. Okay, it's strict. It's that strict. Like you must have 1,000 and above followers so that you can do lives. When you do lives, people tend to send you gifts and stuff, and those gifts are converted into money.
Mm,
That's pure money, and
mhm,
that's a payment. Or you maybe let's say you have some content that you display.
mhm,
This gives you an opportunity by opportunity to a certain company, so they own you and they use you to expose their products in form of advertisement so that you can help them sell their products in the market.
mm,
Yeah, so such I mean, or myself, I would think of maybe let's say I have a business, for instance.
mhm,
Maybe for instance I'm selling shoes. So I pay for my I pay for the advertisement fee. When I pay for this advertisement fee, there is a time like my adverts or my sales will go at a viral just because I paid for the fee. But when I fail to pay for the fee, the views will be limited.
mm.
Unlike when I pay for the fee. When I pay for the fee, views are not limited according to the fee that I've paid. I
Okay.
mean, this is a positive. Like for this case, I would consider it as a positive way of pushing the youth, yeah, to sustain their lives.
Makobura,
Yes.
I'm coming to you on utilizing of digital platform. And
Mm,
this has been a challenge. And if you look very keenly, digital platform is a place where you can connect with outside world in a very positive way. Yeah, but is a challenge in Kenya. Can you please just explain to our viewers how digital platform is a challenge in Kenya and how out of it we can create employment?
the truth of the matter is, ICT, information technology and communication, it's one of the most important tools for social and one of the most important tool in social and economic building of a country. Of a country. Uh, in internet, for example, people use internet to do so many things, and currently there are so many job opportunities in different countries. And the truth of the matter is, internet has made it easy for people to even work remotely. And again, the problem that most youths face is, first, there's this lack of internet in their either homes or places where they live. So this has been a challenge because most of the youths, they are eager and they are really in need of this internet so that in one way or another they can get the opportunity to be online and try to look for these opportunities. But since there's lack of internet, it's been an issue, especially those who are living in the rural or in small towns. The truth of the matter is, internet currently is mostly available in the big towns, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu. But these other counties, there's so many counties with no actually internet at all. So that has been an issue. Again, there's a problem because the education system does not really give or help youths to get enough knowledge concerning ICT. ICT is majority of youth still are not very much aware of the capabilities or the things that ICT can help them. So there's this lack of good education on ICT. You find that someone could go through primary, high school, and maybe college, but they cannot. If maybe you give them these machines, computer machines or laptops, they might find it even difficult to operate. And this is truly a challenge to the youths because it makes them find it hard to operate with the internet and to get into the world.
Okay, thank you. And I think one of the things that if government wants our youths to get so connected to the world, the cost of internet is it's very expensive because like I was looking like Safaricom, you buy a
It's
bundle and they
it's too hard because
uh,
I was interacting with a friend who is in Europe,
mhm,
and then I realized that as much as we would say Safaricom, for example, has a powerful or steady internet, the cost is too high, and this is a challenge. If you compare the rate at which internet is being sold here in Kenya and other countries, you find that it's too expensive in Kenya,
yes.
and this is becoming a challenge to the youths because they cannot really afford it, and so they can't really find or get into ICT platforms.
And I'm waiting for a day when any other leader will come out and challenge, especially Safaricom on an issue whereby if you buy a bundle, then they are telling you it is for this period of time. Yeah, I don't know whether it still exists. You know,
It does, it does.
that issue should be challenged because when you buy something with your own money, it belongs to you. You don't have any conditionality on when to use it. I should use it at my own disposal time. So I think if our leaders should pick that with Safaricom, such that if I buy a bundle, I should not be told I should use it between 3 and 4. If I don't use it, I lose it. How do I lose it then? That was my money that I used to purchase it. So that is something that our leaders also should look into it. And when they look into it, it will make youth also to get connectivity and get accessibility to the world. Yeah, because now they will be at peace with themselves and say like, now I want to look for this thing at peace rather than competing with time because you know that they are going to take it away from you. Anything you might heard about utilizing of digital platform, Vera or Vera you?
I also think it's a matter. It's true that finding the devices, ICT devices like computer laptops, they are very costly, and it's very unfortunate that the government is still increasing taxes to the importers or the people who sell uh, these gadgets. So this is also making it very difficult. The other day, the government introduced a very high level tax for the importers of phone, for example, and there was a crisis actually. Finding a phone in Nairobi, was it? I think it's still on. Finding a phone which would cost 12,000 3 months ago or 2 months ago, currently you'll find it at 18 or 20.
Hmm.
And yes, and it's true, it's a matter, it's a serious matter currently in Kenya. And this is an issue. It's making the youths find it tough to interact with these gadgets because they can't afford. So this is one of the issues that is also affecting when it comes to ICT.
Yeah, so especially the when the accessory that we can use to access the internet are becoming too much expensive. So what do you want to buy? Do I need to buy it or just to stay? And without buying, which means you're not be connected with the outside world because nowadays the world is global. Yeah. Even what we are doing what we call virtual. We are from very different destination, but like we can connect and talk, you see. So I think the government or the relevant authorities should actually come in and see all this what we are raising, so that we can have a society whereby the youths are also included. There's something also here that I think might be a challenge, and I know Vera, maybe you're still in school or you're not, but the cost of education, the education cost, it's a challenge to the youth, not even to the youth, even to our parents. What Vera, what can you say about the education?
Based on okay, based on education sector,
Mm-hmm.
apparently, I'm not sure whether it's on rumors or it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
There's this called, most of us used to survive on capitation and help.
Mm-hmm.
But then apparently the government is trying to complain that there's no money to fund the schools. So apparently it's on the parents to chip in for their own kids to educate their kids. But then you find that some are coming from poor backgrounds. They can't sustain themselves. They can't even afford their own food daily. So how are they going to educate their own kids? How are they going to do this? And then that's not even still enough. The government has got the audacity to increase the school fees. And the school fees is apparently the school fees has been hyped. There's no money to find the school there's no money to fund the schools. The one called capitation. The capitation used to help most of the students because you have been given this capitation and then you're sure the help is still coming through for you. The help comes in two ways, in that you get the upkeep money and still get the school fees. But
Yes.
then the government is now shutting it down. And then I'm sorry to say, what do they expect us to do in real sense? For the poor students, what do they expect them to do? This is going to be a challenge. It means that the education is going to remain for the rich.
But I saw like my brother was joining, and I saw like like Kitambo.
Mhm.
I don't know whether you used to apply, but right now, before you are given that help, you have to apply for it. Yeah. So, or how do you do it?
Okay, I am sure you have to apply for it, but still you
Mhm.
have to push it through. I'm sorry to say that I have an aunt that tries to follow up. She's like, where is the? I mean, I have to see that. I have to see the link. Did you send it? Did you receive it? Let me
Of
see.
course.
So I have to push it for you because maybe it's through connections. There are some people who apply for this help and they don't get it. Not even the school fees, not even the upkeep. They don't get anything. You get it. We don't know whether it's a form of whether it's through connection, it's done through connection or something. I don't understand. The only thing I know, there are students that applies for it and they don't get it. Not everyone gets the help.
Makobura,
Yes,
education.
education, especially help.
Yes,
Help,
help.
help is becoming. I would say it looks like there's a specific group in Kenya
Mm,
that is trying to hold or held this thing called help. Because if you're known to them, for sure you'll get it, whether whether you are rich, so long as you know people in that department, whether
mhm,
you're coming from rich family, whether you're coming, you'll get it fully.
mhm,
But again, uh, the government has not really helped the students because currently the most expensive thing, the most I think in Africa,
mm.
Kenya is one education system in Kenya is one of the most expensive.
But remember, it's the most expensive. But if you look all African countries, education sector is the most funded with a lot of money in Africa. Check
Yes,
all the African nation is the most that all the African governments are funding with a lot of money.
yes. But now in Kenya it's becoming a tall order, like it's becoming something that people cannot even afford. So we are asking ourselves that this generation, these people are coming to campus, joining the university and TVETs, when they're coming from poor backgrounds or from poor families, how are they going to study? Because it's too expensive for them, and for one to access or get access of help, the process is too long. Those days you would apply, and then fortunately or unfortunately, but fortunately you'd get. But today you have to go to I don't know help office. You have to line up. They have to go for do background check of which they don't even do. They just decide those things by themselves. It's so difficult, and it's becoming it's a serious issue if not addressed.
mm.
Majority of Kenyans will not be able to afford the cost of tertiary, TVETs, and universities. Majority of them are going to drop.
Even at the lower level, even the high school, the junior high school, and what, it's expensive.
Yeah, yeah, it's expensive.
Generally the education in Kenya now is quite much expensive, and I don't know how the families that are not able, or the family that are living below the poverty line will be able to school their kids, or their kids will be able to go to school. So I think as a youth, we the youth should all come up and voice this, because if you don't voice it out, they will not they will it will not happen, so it is upon the youths to voice it out. I'm kind of like running out of what we should discuss, what we are supposed to be discussing. Maybe if one of you have like something that you need to share, that challenge also that our youths are facing, I will be glad to hear from you.
Before we get out of that issue of education, I wanted to also say this. You know, the other day the president launched, there's a university in Kenya called Open University.
Mhm.
It was launched some days back. And from what the information I got, they're saying that per semester they would pay around 105, and it's an online university. Now we ask ourselves, we as the youth of Kenya, just one semester and it's online and you pay 105. And the main reason why this university was even being started was to cater or to help, especially the poor, who are either in their homes or whichever place and could not afford accommodation and everything within towns. This university was started so that they would access it at their homes or at their workplace or whichever. Now we ask ourselves, just one, they say, is it a need per year? 105,000, that's a lot of money. So it's not really serving the purpose in which it was meant for.
Mm.
So we still have a long way to go. We as Kenyans, we as youths, when it comes to education, if we don't stand up and say no
Mm.
to people who are trying to stop us from studying, then we'll find it tough.
So let's say, for example, you're talking about that open universities. If a meal, some of our parents cannot afford the meal, how will they afford the cost of internet? For you to get a very good internet to keep you on online, which means you have to pat yourself with a good money. You've paid almost 105. What about the internet? And when you go back, maybe this kid is in the village where you don't have even electricity light. How are you going to do that? So I think some, before they do that, I don't know how some our leaders think. Now we want to discuss about the current issue. I'm not going to take long for the current issue. Vera, are you conversant with the current issue?
Okay, before we finish or we close the chapter of education, let me say something.
Mhm,
Apparently, okay, let's not just base ourselves on the tertiary education,
mhm,
because even without the primary education,
mhm,
people we won't manage to the tertiary one. So let's say, for example, the CBC education. This this stuff is very expensive. Like, you find that a pupil comes home and, like, they just want stuffs, and a parent is like, they don't even have the money to buy food. Where are
mhm,
they going to get this money to buy these stuffs that are needed in school? It's not easy for them. It's already stressful. I don't know what the government should do about it, but at least they should fund the schools for these things that they need for the CBC. And again, let's say a pupil is going to school. They don't even have food. Like, he or she is really starving, but then they have to get to school. Low
mhm,
concentration. They won't be able to concentrate. You can't concentrate without food in your stomach. And mark you, this a small kid. I mean, the kids are starving out here, and the government, sorry to say that, they're busy talking about the house funding. I don't know, it's whatever the house funding, whatever the house is all nyumba za kujenga.
Mhm.
They're not bringing anything to us. They're not adding any value to us. Like apparently, let's say for it's not adding values. Like I think the government should fund schools. At least either primary schools should be funded, so at least they have food to give the pupils, at least for them to concentrate. Otherwise, there will be lots of school dropouts. Because how will you concentrate without food in your stomach? You
Mhm.
can't concentrate. So I think government should do something when it comes to food, and maybe CVC stuff. Schools needs to be funded. Like schools needs money.
Okay.
Yes,
Before
again,
okay,
for yeah, before we
before I
close,
no,
the
we
truth.
are not closing. I have to still come to you before I come to Makobura. I'm still with Vera, so I will come to you as we close. Vera, I think you are in Kenya most of the time, and there was maandamano. Yeah,
Yeah.
then came bipartisan talk. Now it's a national dialogue that is taking place. If I'm not wrong,
Hmm.
what is your take on it as a youthful person? What is your take on national dialogue that is happening between the Kenya Kwanza government and Azimio, the opposition?
Okay, I can't say I have any opinion on this. Yeah, I can't tell whether I have an opinion. I'm sure I don't have an opinion on that.
Okay,
Sorry
that's
to say
fair.
so.
Okay, this is just like things that are happening. I'm taking you outside Kenya. I'm bringing you to Africa.
Okay.
Uh, we've seen in part of Africa, especially the West, we are seeing every time we hear of the coup, and latest just happened not even a day ago, the Gabon, we had a coup. As a person, what do you think about the Africans in general? Or you're not very good with politics or leadership?
I'm sorry to say I'm not good with politics and leadership.
Oh,
Social life, I am not just good in that.
okay. Marco Bura, this I think will be your take. Yeah. Um, before we wind up, what is your take on the current issues that are happening in the country?
Okay, fine. First, before I forget,
Yeah.
uh, before I forget about education,
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is a country's prosperity and the level at which the economy of a country rises depends on the education system and the number of people who are educated in that country.
Hmm.
So since education is going to become an issue and a problem for people, the economy of Kenya, if education system is not looked into, and especially the funding model,
Hmm.
there might be a crisis in the near future
Hmm.
because most people will not afford, and so we will lack the knowledge and the expertise that is needed to drive the economy of Kenya.
Hmm.
Yeah. Fine. Now to politics, Kenyan politics.
Hmm.
Where do we start? From Andamano?
I just because like you are the youths that are there. Yeah.
Yeah,
When we started from the issue started, it was about lowering of living cost. You know that, and it
yeah.
was about opening the server. Then it went until now where it is, where it came from bipartisan. Then it went to parliament. It came now. It's a national dialogue. Yeah. In your take, in the national dialogue, do you feel like the youth agenda is part of the national dialogue?
Mm, okay. I don't know. Okay. You are too specific, and I don't know. Should I also be specific? Or,
No, no, I'm just asking you because the reason why I'm asking you is this: when you look at the ever since the Mandamano started, the majority of people who were on the street were the young people. Yeah, and they were very particular about lowering of cost of
Food. Yeah. So first,
yeah,
let's move slowly. Let
yeah,
me start by speaking about Mandamano.
yeah.
Fully,
Mm,
the issues were serious issues
mhm,
of which the government needed to look into and try to solve.
mhm,
And the issues were, but among lowering the cost of foods, opening the servers,
mhm,
oh, and so forth and so forth. I think it was a good call, and the people who came out, to me, I
mhm,
think these are they are heroes
mhm,
because it's good
mhm,
to stand and say no to anything that is hurting your neighbor, hurting your brother,
mhm,
hurting someone who is next to you. The truth of the matter is, this mandamano started because of the finance bill which was just passed,
mhm,
and the government never even at the people, they never listen to the people, they never let people participate so that they get their opinion
mhm,
and what they think. Democracy dictates that whichever or whatever decision a government wants to make,
mhm,
they have to involve the people.
mhm,
And the definition of democracy, there's the people in it. So the
mhm,
people at the center or the core of anything that a government wants to make. The truth of the matter is they never listen to the people. They raised taxes. The cost of living came too high.
mhm,
People could not afford, and so they decided to go to street. It's
mhm,
unfortunate that many people were killed because they were saying they were hungry,
mhm,
because they were saying they could not afford their basic needs, because they were saying the taxes were too high, they could not move, they could not travel, they could not do their daily activities.
mhm,
It's good it led to the bipartisan, but
mhm,
the truth of the matter is
mhm,
the people who are hurting more were the youths. They are not part and parcel of these talks which are going on.
mhm,
If you look at the people or the members in that particular bipartisan talk, there's no youth at all.
mhm,
And for that reason, I say there's some insincere activities which are going on over there.
mhm,
Because the people who went from Andamano are youths, the people who are killed were youths. Now they have decided to go for bipartisan, there is no youth. So were they joyriding on us? What were they? Huh?
okay, that's why I was asking because and when you talk of national dialogue, it means that it's something that is national, is inclusive. Why should it be made very, very public so that we can watch it on television because it's national, because it affects us? Why is it that they're just enclosed somewhere, then the report will be given to us? Do you think, what do you think?
It's wrong because this is a national dialogue.
Yes.
A national dialogue should involve every Kenyan citizen, and every Kenyan citizen has opinion
Mhm,
and must be listened to.
mhm,
Of course, there's a say which goes that majority does what? The majority has their way, but the minority, whichever.
eh,
The truth is, the majority of Kenyans must be listened to,
mhm,
and their issues must be taken into consideration because the youths are the majority. They're about 73% of the Kenyan population. The people, the percentage of people who are killed, I would say 95% were youths. So they
mhm,
have not been included in this. The people who are selected to this panel, there's no youth, even there's no youth. So it is
okay.
wrong. And there's some hidden agenda in it. And the people concerned should come out and make it clear to the people of Kenyans. Because we are Kenyans, we are entitled to get every information that is being discussed in a national level.
Thank you very much. Before we wind up, I'm still with you. Vera, just give us a few minutes before we wind up, then you will give your closing remarks. There's a trend now in Africa. Yeah, we are seeing the military coup are taking place. And if you see the places whereby the military coup has taken place, are the president that have been there for more than 10 to 15 years, more than 10 years. Does it mean that Africa is going the coup way?
Mm, my opinion, we should expect more coups in different countries, in many countries in Africa. And the reason why these coups are coming up is because people are fed up with angry, corrupt leaders who are not really respecting the lives of the people, but they're just respecting themselves and their families and their close friends. Majority of Africans are coming up to say no to people who are trying to misuse them, people who are trying to loot, people who are trying to get into corruption, people who are trying to make their lives miserable. So that is what is happening in Kenya. Not in Kenya, in Africa.
Mm,
And we should expect more because Africans are waking up. They are saying we are not going to be governed by people who do not respect us, people who are being controlled by the West or the Europeans.
yes, there was somebody call it we call it dictatorial democracy, whereby the election are not done in a very orderly way or in a lawful manner. But you find some Western countries will say the election was free and fair. So then they say it was democratically elected, and that is what we call dictatorial democracy. Is a democracy that is forced on us. Vera, we are winding up. Maybe your closing remarks to our viewers.
Uh, my closing remarks. I'm just grateful to be given this opportunity to participate in this, and I'd be happy if whatever we have said here or whatever we have been discussing here will be taken into consideration. And yeah, it let me say it might get us to whichever level we would want to get, and with that, we'll appreciate. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for that. Thanks
Okay.
for this time. Yeah.
Okay, you are always welcome to come to this channel anytime you have issue you need to discuss with your country. Just let me know, and the platform will be always be there for you. Makobura,
Yes.
yes,
May I want to talk to the youths?
yeah,
The youths, we are the majority, and they always say that the leaders of tomorrow are the youths. So maybe we are youths now, but tomorrow we'll be leaders. I think it's high time we should unite. We should say no to leaders who are trying to misuse us, leaders who are trying to loot, leaders who are getting into corruption, leaders who do not respect us. And we should stand up and say no to them, whether it means going to demonstrate so that they listen to us, whichever direction we should use or we should take, so that we are listened to. We should we should we should use whichever means to hear our views so that we are understood. We should fight for our rights so that we also feel the belonging. We feel that we belong to this country. You should not be afraid for either contesting for any position. So long as you are 18, you have the constitution is there. It supports you. It gives you a way, or it permits you to vie for any position. You might not have the finance, but once you have the idea, once you have the brain, once you understand where we are going to and where we are coming from, we should always try to stand up and be strong. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Makobur. I think I still have one schedule with you that will be coming later. We not about the youth. I think in a few months to come, we have something we need to discuss with the public with you. I still organizing for that date, so we will discuss more about that idea. And as you said about the youths are the majority, and the youths are the people who have say. One thing that I usually realize with our youths is that our youths usually do not have the agenda. If they have their own agenda that they are pursuing, they will not wait for anybody to tell them to go to street. They will wake up by themselves that morning and go to street. So if we have the agenda, what we want, and we work towards it, then we will get it. If you look at most of the African leaders, our legendary African leaders, they were very young. Look at somebody like Patrice Lumumba. Look somebody like even Steve Biko. These are very young Africans who fought, and just imagine those days they thought there was no technology like the one we have today. What about us? And they were fighting against colonizers. But with us, we are fighting against the leadership that we know. So I think we have a chance, the youth have a chance to make a big difference in our country. And let's unite and pursue agenda that unite and that which also give answers that we are looking for. Thank you very much. And next time I will be hosting you. Tomorrow I will be talking to a gentleman on how the blacks can build generational wealth. So you are highly welcome to be part of the show. And thank you so much. If you are new here, please be part of the family by just giving a subscription. We will be very glad and we will be thanking you so much. May you have a good time. And next time we'll be here. Thank you so much.